I'm gonna throw them away and that'll be it. Why is that so? What was he called? Ficino, like to fingieren. To pretend. Well, some Italian actually invented those cards, and they have no well, you can make up meanings for these cards that would have some real life background, and then you go, oh yeah, I can work with these images and ideas and hierarchies. But no, you can as well take any other set of whatever and then work with these. The tarot cards, they were invented like 15 something around in Italy, around this Medici family that wanted to take away power from the church. They were like inventing a new kind of thinking machine, and maybe they also wanted to talk with these, like John Dee later on. It says that because of the Pope not allowing science to happen, they had to have some language instead of our language. A science language then didn't exist. So that's why they used these mystic, you could say, symbols, they look like, by John Dee, it says. But since I'm not a physician, I have no idea. I just know that I invested a lot of time in this invention, and I used to believe that certain pictures mean this and that because in real life, swords really cut, and so that must mean something bad. And also the Greek mythology really has these stories and makes sense that you start and then you go through a process and you end somewhere else. So all these 10 number cards in a big tarot, they could really have meaning, but you have to assign that meaning to those cards. And that's kind of like time waste. Because also, tarot, the only way I say that it can work is when you use it to kind of refresh your thinking mode. So when you are stuck somewhere, like either you're afraid, or you're uncertain, or you're angry, or you're in love, that's also kind of a way to be stuck in a certain mode. Then you ask the question, of course, is he in love with me? Are we a good couple? Then you turn the card dark, bad. Then what comes into your mind? Well, the thing is, that one really happens. You think you are in love, then you see the dark card and you go questioning the reality. And that's what kind of allows your intuition to come up with new modes of thinking. And now that I have just done that with these 3 cards, I found out it's even really helpful to have all these cards, because what happens then is you have a wider area of kind of where your thoughts might be led to. If you just have like 3 colors, these blue and yellow and dark color, what happens will be you go like having a answer that would be like yes, no, and maybe. But if you have all these kind of varieties of colors and things that are depicted, then your subconscious really comes up with kind of and stuff like that. And not just the pictures. I used to do it as follows. I had the cards, I mixed them up and shuffled them, and then I took 10 cards and I made a row of 10 cards as I picked them in the order. And then I went like, well, since now we have like one, the start would be some kind of, I went like that. Okay, the question would be still the same. We go, is he in love? Are we a good couple? Shall I stay with that man? So you go, the start is feeling wise a bit fresh. Okay, that one really depicts the real situation. Then the step that now we have to take is to think wise, because this was emotions, water, the cups, and this is air, and it's like our thinking. That's kind of, and she's the queen, so she sure does. So I will do pick a wise decision, whether from these cards or from life. Then where I do get to, the first reachable solution will be High Priestess, which is a good card. It's like we get to like exchange our subconscious. That's what she stands for. Then in the material world, what do we get then? Well, now we get to fight the swords again, and it's the knight. Not the knight, the one helping the knight. Well, so then we have 5, the human like society and relationships. So here it is a bit better with the wands. We have yeah, whatever. So 6 was sexuality then, concerning the question. So that will bring a lot of money. Sexuality and money will be whatever. Then 7 is like the first, this is all the material world, like what can we really do? And then from 7 on, in geometry, you cannot construct 7, 8, 9, or 10. So this is like the world beyond material worlds. So then we have spiritually, it's a disaster, near end of disaster. That's 9 of the swords, very bad. Now here the wands, we have a 9 here, 2 on 8, which is, I always went for power, eternity, power. So that's betrayal, no good. So in the long run, something like maybe with his family or whatever is a betrayal. Then we have a kind of religion card, 9, which is again money. So what would you say in a relationship if the money card is coming again? And 10 would be like final judgment. Ooh. Here I want to add some of the material that I kind of paved my way through while I was learning the symbols and all of that. So this would be the Hebrew alphabet. Like I really went into the detail. Aleph is God, nothing. And also the first tarot card, blah blah. It's power, it's a ox. And so I went like for all of them. And then of course the same with Kabbalah, because on each of these dots you have this Sephiroth that you can learn about, and then you have the ways going from here to there that mean something, and the tarot cards can be placed right there. So yeah, and even like I was mentioning here, that we had water that's standing for feeling. We had a cup there. So then you would go Yetzirah. Okay, now we know Yetzirah. It's about the soul. It doesn't have to do anything about the body or mentally or causal. Yeah. And Yetzirah would be, I think it was 6, but I'm not sure. And as you can see, it's all full. Like, if now I have to find something, I really have to go. Well, that's the world. That's called Yetzirah. It's not a Sephiroth. There isn't. But it says it's 7, 8, and 9. So 7, 8, and 9. These 3 it depicts. Or it cannot be, because now these 3 rows is like vital, this one is mental, and this one is astral. Things do interlock, they really do. But what did I mean with 7, 8, 9 down here? It's probably not the cards, because it's 10 of them. So I'm telling you correct, because Malkut 10 earth, there's just one of those, because that one you can then split into 4 again. That's why you see these dashes here, the 4 ones, and then you have like the 3 worlds in between, which is not really correct. It should be 4 worlds somehow, like 4 like 5 dashes, so you would have like 4 inter dash areas. Now you see how complicated I think. So that one tarot was about Kabbalah, and here it's about physics and numbers. So you have a point, which would be the first stage, and then, as I said, then there is a way you go, number 2, then you can make a 3, a triangle, then you can construct a space. With 3 you cannot really construct space other than a flat space, but then you really have space in the 3-dimensional, and then you have a 5 thing, and then this one here, number 6, is already constructed, blah 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 blah. Back we go to number 3, but then number 7 cannot be constructed, so that's why there the off material world starts. So I kind of made up my own system, right? And also color wise, it all has a meaning, everything. Like color, number, I matched together with geometrical whereabouts, like dot, and then like a path. That one does not have any, it's just time actually. Number 2 would be time, you know. That one would be the all one, everything, because if you expand the dot, you get to a sphere, and in a sphere you can place all the 5 platonic bodies. So that's kind of like the thinking you do when you do these tarot things. And here, like, I invested time and watched stuff on YouTube. So like Aleph, there is 1 page on Aleph alone. And then there is Bet, 1 page on Bet alone. So I can tell you quite a lot about like the first, I don't know how much, Dalet I did, and then Vav, and that was it. Mem I did, and then I stopped.